Okay, Pops, we're going to talk about one of my favorite things today with the Yon Master himself.
Dr. Yoni Barron.
Yes. How you doing, Yoni?
Hey guys, I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Next video, I'm going to come up with an even better nickname, but we're going to talk about the equivalency of like a doc fee or a processing fee on the service side. One of the things I know you're really passionate about that is transparency, honesty, making sure that everyone understands and has equal footing, equal playing field. Well, in the service department, or when you're getting your car, worked on at a shop, there are all sorts of different fees you see on your bill of sale and whatnot.
Yeah.
And some of those, I think, kind of are just a little bit of padding
You mean
of
the
profits.
hello fee?
The hello fee.
You want us to treat you nicely fee?
So you and Yoni, we're going to walk us through those fees. Before we do,
Yeah.
back at yourautoadvocate.com, we've got the Black Book data in the app now. We've got the email outreach with templates that my dad wrote, the dealer contact information. We've got some really exciting stuff. It's actually turning into a super valuable way to buy a car more efficiently and get a fair price. Check it out, yourautoadvocate.com.
Looking for fairness and efficiency. Ooh.
Nice.
Now, Yanni, when I go to the
guys.
service department or an independent shop and I'm looking for fairness and efficiency, what fees should I be aware of?
All right, so you got to figure there's probably about 4 of them. Not all 4 will apply to each ticket, but you have in general 4 fees. You have your shop supplies, you have your hazardous waste disposal, you have your...
That's already my favorite.
We're not talking about the COVID testing here, we're talking
Sure.
about automotive hazardous waste disposal. You've got your tire disposal fee, and then of course you have sometimes they'll break it up into a waste oil fee as well.
Wow. So who dreamed up all these fees, and are they legitimate?
Yeah, like what do they do?
Well, I mean, you got to figure in some way, the business needs to offset some of its out-of-pocket, its monthly overhead expenses and costs. Some states have a state-regulated implementation of charging for these fees. A lot of them are like the tire fee and for hazardous waste disposal. So that's 2 out of the 4. But the other 4 are really, business-generated ways to offset some of their out-of-pocket expenses, like the shop supplies.
Yeah. So can we run through each of the 4? What is shop supplies even mean? Because if I'm a first-time viewer, long-time caller, first-time caller, long-time listener, join our live streams on Saturday nights. But if I didn't know what a doc fee was, I watch a couple of our videos. Okay, I figured it out. It's just like profit center, and it's never going to go away on the OTD quote, yada yada yada. What the heck does shop supplies even mean? Am I paying a fee for you guys to buy? Not you guys, but for shops to buy parts and stuff? What does that even mean?
Could be a washer. I mean, literally a washer. Could be a shop supply.
It's because the washer at the dealership level, at least, every part has a part number to it. So if there's a part getting put on the car, that part number has to go on the invoice. So the washer wouldn't apply to it. Shop supplies usually associate to your shop rags, your cleaning materials, your sandblasting materials if you have a sandblasting station. So that's really your shop supplies. It's a percentage of the repair order to offset some of those overhead bulk item costs. Now, in many situations, a shop supply being a percentage of the parts cost, if it caps out at $40, let's say, when you spend $800 or more in mostly parts and labor, you'll find that, the facility will profit from shop supplies because on another job that requires, less of that product, and yet the final invoice is still that $800, they're still charging the flat fee. So, shop supplies will vary based upon the total parts and labor, but are primarily associates to the parts cost. In very minimal situations, do you have an invoice that's 80% labor and 20% parts cost?
Now, in a really important question, I think the question that's going through everyone that's watching at this point is, how nice are those rags? Are they designer rags? Are they wholesale, Walmart rags? How nice?
Somebody's got to help Cintas pay for all their advertising.
You just called me on that one.
So these are some of the nicest rags Cintas has ever come up with. Trust me when I tell you.
I'll tell you what, Ray, when it comes to Cintas, which is a great company,
Yes.
they supply uniforms and rags and floor mats and the
Mats, yeah.
cleaning of those services. It's no poo-poo on Cintas here,
Yeah.
but on the private sector, a lot of times they'll use their generic red rags, and those red rags, of course, are for wiping things, for cleaning things, for wiping off the floor. You throw it in a bucket, they take it, they clean it for you. But at the dealership level, a lot of dealerships use what's called these pig mats, and pig mats are much more expensive. They're super absorbent.
There we go.
They're more environmentally friendly. So some of that shop supplies fee will associate to what the facility is using. But going back to when I was in the private sector, I think we also just charged a flat fee. And if I use more rags or if I use less rags, everyone is getting charged the same. Period. It was truly off of the total parts and labor.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So then what are these other ones? There was the hazardous waste materials.
So, yeah, you have hazardous waste disposal. All right. Hazardous waste disposal are primarily applied to your oils, your transmission fluid, your coolants, those liquid products that have to be, or realistically, you hope to be, are getting recycled in some way, shape, or form. And you're paying the state, their percentage that they're requiring to show that you're being, EPA compliant. Now, you're still not paying the state, or the state isn't regulating who's coming out there and taking that product and what they're using it for, but the state takes a fee for it. Now, many facilities, quite a few years ago, have converted their heating system to utilizing their own waste motor oil, with a filtration system to heat their buildings, to cut back on cost. But they're still charging a hazardous waste disposal fee and not paying BG&E for their heating cost as much. So, that offset of I'm using, but I'm charging, is it more, is it less? It's a little tricky.
Now, that's so that the dealers no longer just like pour used oil down the drain?
No. Hopefully
no, we never poured used oil down there. God forbid, none of the private sector and none of the dealership level.
Okay.
But like antifreeze, or washer fluid, which are both toxic products, I don't condone any of that stuff not being managed in a, EPA friendly way. But, there are situations where the stuff pours all over the ground. You can't collect it all in the bucket. How do you clean the area?
Yes.
Why, you either use your shop supplies, your Cintas rags, you're using the pig mats, or some places used to use this product called kitty litter, which is, again, very similar to kitty litter, where it's absorbent. You sweep it up, you throw it in the trash, then the trash can goes in the dumpster. The dump takes it to the dump, and then it gets put into the ground some way, shape, or form, or you're hosing the area off. So there's no perfect world about, you're trying to minimize how much is going into our environment. But realistically, there's still a percentage that is going into the environment.
What was the other fee? Was it a tire-related one?
Yeah, so you have your tire disposal fee. The states all regulate, I believe, some sort of tire disposal fee. And then there's also a tire tax. And to be honest with you, I don't recall exactly what the tire tax applies to, but the tire disposal fee primarily associates to the cost of recycling that tire. So let's just say if they charge $2 per tire as a tire disposal fee, they very well could have whoever is managing those tire product recycles are only charging them $1 per tire. They're still, of course, profiting on their back end wherever they resell the tire to, but the dealership or the private shop is still profiting $1 on the tire disposal fee.
Wow!
So
this is so interesting.
Yeah. And there is a tire tax on new cars when they're sold.
Yes. Yeah.
In the state of Maryland, unless it's gone up recently, it was $5, $1.25 per tire, that the state collects to help in the disposal of tires in the future.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our tire tax fee is 80 cents. The tire disposal fee is $1.50. But, I can't say that I know the insides of things of, whoever is contracted to come out and recycle our tires, how much we're paying them.
Sure. Yeah, but it is interesting. So there are these different line items that you shouldn't be surprised to see on particular jobs or when you take your car to get serviced. And now you know what the heck they actually are. To me, that's eye-opening because I would have just looked at it and been like, all right, I got no clue what that is. But now I'm more empowered. It's the knowledge is power thing. Not necessarily suggesting that you should like negotiate the 60 cents off of the tire, fee and whatnot. But it is interesting just to understand and have a better baseline knowledge of what's actually, what you're being billed for and what's happening.
Sure. So you can't negotiate tire fees. Tire tax, tire disposal are non-negotiable, period. If you're taking the tire with you, you could naturally ask to have that per tire cost fee removed for the tire disposal, assuming that you are disposing of it safely or making a flower pot out of it, whatever you're going to do with it.
It's good looking flowers behind you, by the way.
Yeah, we're going to skip that. But the shop supplies is a taxable item. So in Ray's famous words, if it's taxable,
it's negotiable.
It's negotiable. Exactly.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
See the shift you learn when you hang out with Dr. Barron and I?
I can't wait to think of what your nickname's going to be in the next video we film. I got to come up with something.
Well,
why advocate? Why advocate for the clients? Maybe why?
Oh yeah, because the Yoni. Yeah, why? Yeah. I thought you were saying why advocate. I was like, you really
why
took me for a loop there. Why what?
I don't know.
Or how about why ask? There we go. Why ask?
Yeah.
I think. All right.
Why ask Barron?
Yeah, we'll leave this to me to figure out. Appreciate you guys trying. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Wow.
Thanks for your time, Yoni. This was super helpful.
I don't know about you, Dr. Barron, but I'm about done with them.
I like Dr. Barron. I'm going to stick with that one.
Is it a PhD or an MD?
It's a BS.
See you, Yoni.
Thank you, Yoni.
All right. Bye, guys. Bye, Ray.
Bye-bye.